Shalom, TikTok. If you're curious to why all these people have black eyes, it's because they put a parasite called Viril, V-R-I-L, into their eye, and it wormed their way in and controls their host body now. So these people that you see with these black eyes like this, they're being controlled by aliens, aka fallen angels, aka demons, kind of. But when you see these people, know that that's not these people inside these bodies anymore. These are the fallen angels. Can we give them a big warm welcome? And man, they are sneaky. They are sneaky. They are professional.
Before, when I was on here with you, we talked about MK Ultra mind control, and I said, I may not have said it on your show, but in a subsequent speech I did say, what MK Ultra mind control does is train people never to blame the guilty. Instead, to point the finger downward at the helpless and never upward at the guilty. But, you know, and people in America are just under that kind of mind control, and it originates from Congress and from our government. You know, they don't want to get caught as they're pocketing all the people's dough. What gets me about the rule by psychopaths is that they're not ever satisfied. Royalty invented a feudal system, and everybody is on, you know, everybody under their class is a breeder that, you know, gives birth to the soldiers and, you know, that do their work for them. So, you know, they needed to have a clear binary, you know, women and men, so they can push that wedding, I call it the wedding military-industrial complex. But, you know, they got to keep breeders going, because where are they going to get these kids to send off to their wars and molest and stuff? You know, they have to create that. So they created these clear gender things for their slaves and their serfs. And, you know, they get a wedding and, you know, then they're happy. They're a princess for a day. Then they go back to the fields, you know. It's mind control. It's feudal, land baron, capitalism, mind control, patriarchy. It's completely obsolete. It's funny when you look at it how ridiculously corrupt it is. And it's hilarious, too, because it's so psychotic. But, you know, we just have to keep laughing it to scorn and watch it die. It doesn't have any place to go now. I think now it's like eating its own tail. I mean, the whole Saudi Arabia, all royal family, 911, Bush, all of it, it's eating its own tail. And everybody's like, truther, you're a truther. You know, when idiots are calling brilliant people stupid, you got a real problem. It's House of Saud, works with House of Windsor, works with the Vatican, works with Rothschild. It's all one big friggin' mafia scam. I mean, I'll probably get assassinated or droned when I'm out of here. But it's all a scam, a tired effing scam. These guys are such geniuses, these money geniuses. Here's how smart they are, Abby. They made money obsolete. It's ridiculous. They're stupid. It's so stupid. I can't stand when stupid people keep, like, winning. I just can't take it. I don't know. I just can't take it.
Yeah, no.
You know, educate yourself. Find out what's going on. Don't stay asleep or go deeper into the mind control, because it will get worse.
Called the Rill. They come up from underground different spots all over the world. There's a 1 to 1.5 foot tall one. That's the Rill Type 1.
The Type 1s are covered in red diamond shaped scales. Rill Type 1s are real dumb.
Little dragons, those are the Rill Type 1. These lizards have a unique biological property of their bodies.
The lizards have what's called a proboscis.
It's an ejectable brain and spinal column.
The small ones they use to drone people because the proboscis on young lizard type 1s, they're small enough to go into an eye and not ruin the eye.
This top cap thing on the top of their head comes out. They can do this once in their life. It pulls their spinal column along with it. The human would have to be restrained or unconscious.
The thing squiggles in through the eye. It does a spiral around the optic nerve all the way to a certain point, and it's driven there by taste. And they said once it gets there, it has the taste of butterscotch. It then starts what they call mimic control. The spinal cord stuff comes out of the spinal cord, and it's everything that the lizard is. The lizard's whole body is dead, and it can't go back in. It's one way.
The juice that's in the spinal cord gets excreted out of the tip of this thing. They're parasitic cells. The parasitic cells go into the brain.
The old person's consciousness is gone. The body is absolutely, totally dominated, and the lizard is smarter as a human. Over time, it'll develop a rash, it'll lose its hair.
And they're actually deficient. They're dumber than the original person.
And they mimic human behavior, and it knows that its life is dependent on it mimicking human behavior, so it does really well. Even with other animals, it's smart enough to instinctually mimic the animal's behavior. The drones of 100 years ago erased any existence of these real lizards from like Egyptian carvings on walls. They would smash them, or books that had anything in them about them, they would burn them.
Wait, don't scroll. Some people think this is a conspiracy theory, but it has been proven. All the blue areas on the maps will be covered in water within the next 3 years. Due to the sea levels rising, please get somewhere safe.
We look at their rockets. This is how they claim to get into outer space, is these rockets. Their rockets never go straight up. Every single rocket launch from a government space agency, you'll notice, follows a parabolic curve. It goes up, it reaches a peak, but what they do is as the rocket starts coming back down, they make sure that it goes down over the ocean, out of the way of any curious observers. Anyone can see it coming back down to Earth, asks, hey, how come the rocket's not going up anymore? Well, it's going around the curvature of the Earth, is what they tell us. So every single rocket, the reason that it follows a parabolic curve, they say, is because it's going around the curvature of the Earth. The real reason is they can't get up any higher than that.
Sorry to tell you. The only thing that's been to space is your imagination.
They tell us that the Earth is a sphere. They show us pictures of a sphere, of a circle. It's a perfect circle. And then they come out and they say, well, it's actually an oval.
So you may be asking yourself, how is this guy so sure that the Earth is flat? Flight paths. It makes it pretty obvious. Now, in this flight, they made us stop in Amsterdam, which on the globe would make no sense. Why wouldn't they just fly from here straight through and stop in Africa? Here's another one that won't make any sense. Why did they go all the way up to Calgary here when they could have landed, somewhere in America? Okay, this one's gotta be seriously obvious to you guys. From London to Pakistan. And they emergency landing in Moscow. Why did they land it down here around, and the most obvious one of all, my favorite. These guys landed in LA. If they had, just look, guys, it's obvious.
I know I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think right now. It may be hard to see tonight, but we are all standing under a glass ceiling right now. And although we weren't able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you, it's got about 18 million cracks in it.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sandra Bookman.
And I'm Joe Torres. We begin with the breaking news about Hillary Clinton's death.
Look at Hillary. I mean, it's like watching a very carefully programmed robot stand up there in front of those reporters.
This is an odd question that I lobbied for a lot because it's one of my favorite questions to ask people. If you don't have an answer, that's fine, but I will be a little sad.
Okay, Tracy, Jesus.
What's the weirdest thing about you?
The weirdest thing about me is that I don't sweat.
Yes, obviously.
Best theory for Hillary's a robot, zero sweat.
See, you guys are the first to realize that I'm really not even a human being. I was constructed in a garage in Palo Alto a very long time ago. People think that, you know, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they created it.
They don't even know.
Oh, no. I mean, a man whose name shall remain nameless created me in his garage.
Are there more of you?
Now, I thought he threw away the plans. At least that's what he told me when he programmed me, that there would be no more. I've seen more people that kind of don't sweat and other things that make me think maybe they are part of the new race that he has created, the robot race.
So there's a cyborg army.
But I don't, you got to cut that. You can't tell anybody this. I don't want anybody to know this. I mean, this has been a secret until here we are in Davenport, Iowa, and I'm just spilling my, electronic guts to you.
What are ice walls?
If you've ever wondered where Asgard is, well, apparently this is where it is. Now, I found this map when I was, wandering around on the internet, and it's a flat earther map. It shows Earth in the middle, and then there's Antarctica, which is supposed to be a giant ice ring, and apparently there's holes in it where you can sail through and go to all these other continents, and these continents are apparently based off of ancient mythologies and stories about these different races of people, and I guess this is where they came from, and I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool, it was pretty interesting. Now right here is apparently leaked footage of Beyond the Ice Wall, which it looks pretty cool. It looks like they got an egg city right there, but we're never gonna know if any of this stuff is real unless we actually go there. But we can't go there because there's the military and they'll stop us, which is unfortunate. So, we will probably never get to the bottom of this. So let's just forget about it.
This book was based on stories told by a woman named Helen Morris. She was the daughter of famous navigator William Morris. She also claims to have been born in the land beyond the ice walls. This book mentions the Great Dome contains 178 worlds, including Earth, in their own smaller domes. The most common way to pass through these domes is through water, where there are often open passages that connect the inner-outer worlds. Almost like to membranes in a cell, functioning as a barrier that can allow at a certain time a passage.
Mira eso, hay algo ahí. Mira algo ahí. Míralo. Yo no sé qué carajo es eso, dale para atrás. Si no quieres saber, dale.